Hello everyone, this is Lolly. I want to share with you this full page shaker that I have in my Alice in Wonderland book. And if you are interested in a really quick and simple way to do this, let's get started. So what you're going to need is your cardstock that you want to put this on. This is going to be, it's one of the pages in my journal. And then this is a zipper pouch. This is actually, I use clear bags now. Thanks, Annette Green gave me that tip to really switch over to them because they have such nice thick bags. So you want one that's not too cheap. This is a 9x7 and you'll see this on the back. What I did was I took this double-sided adhesive tape that's in sheets. I do have not that brand, but I do have another brand in my shop. And I just put a strip on there. And so all I need to do is to set that on there where I want it. You don't need this huge zipper pouch. Go with the size that fits your project. There we go. So now we peel that off. We're going to place this where we want it. And you only get one shot, so make it count. Okay. Now all I need to do is to stuff this and seal it off. What I want to do is to go ahead and stitch right on this edge, and then I want to stuff it. So hold tight. Okay, we are done. Now I used a zigzag stitch just to make it a little more decorative. You can use whatever you want. I just wanted to make sure that this was really there to stay. And I am going to be trimming this off. And I think it would make my life a whole lot easier if I were to trim off most of that right now. And fortunately, I have these lines here. My adhesive goes to about here. Probably could have trimmed this off ahead of time. Would have made my life a little easier. There we go. And this can be used for another shaker. Okay, so now you do see the lines on the other side, but it's not going to cause me too much grief. So I have this element I want to put in there, and I don't want it sinking all the way to the bottom because it's a little heavier. So what I'm going to do, put a little bit of double-sided tape on the back. I'm using the red line tape because that is pretty sturdy. Peel that off. And now when I put this in here, I'm going to kind of hold it up so it doesn't stick to the bottom. Now when I put it in there, it's in there. It's not going to get lost. Anything else you want to put in there, now is the time. But I want to go ahead and, for me, go ahead and start putting in my shaker bits. Fill it as full as you want, but I do want this to sort of lie flat eventually. So let me get something under here to lift this up just a little bit. Like my Lolly ruler, just a little bit. And what I have, these are so adorable. These are miniature playing cards. They're from Dress My Craft. And those have to be the most perfect thing to put in an Alice in Wonderland journal. I have no idea how much of this stuff to put in here. And I wanted to go with something more ethereal and translucent, so that the only thing that wasn't translucent would be the playing cards. I don't know where this mix came from because I have so many mixes that what I've done is I've repackaged them into these. That is so pretty. Beautiful. Now, I normally put in some glass beads to help it to shake and stay nice and loose. I'm not sure I'm going to do that this time, but I do have these from Cartwright's. Cartwright is probably one of the #1 places that I get shaker bits from. These are, they're holographic flower shapes, and it's called Ivory Peach. I thought it would go along really well with that ethereal look. I do have these, which are gold keys. I think they would get lost in such a huge shaker, so I don't think I'm going to do that. Now, you can use your self-adhesive tape, double-sided tape under here to seal the whole thing. You could staple it, you could sew it, and that's what I'm going to do, so I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so the key to doing this is to make sure that you have used a really good zipper pouch. And I think it also helps to have a pretty cardstock background. In other words, not just a solid white. You see how this showing through makes it really pretty. Now, of course, it is going to sink down to the bottom because it's a nice wide shaker. The sides can separate a lot easier than if it was a narrow shaker. Hope that makes sense. But at this point, you can take some of your trims. You know, you can cover up your stitches if you want. I'm not going to, and I'm also not going to stitch the top and bottom. But that is all I need to do. The back doesn't look bad. You can hardly see it. Got a stitch line right there and a zigzag right here. And neither of which are going to interfere with my project. So that is my full page, nearly full page shaker for my Alice in Wonderland journal that is coming together quite nicely. This is going to go right there, and beautiful. Notice I kept the shaker in. I didn't line it all the way to the end here because I want to be able to stitch my journal pieces together. So it's coming together nicely. I love it. It's nice and chunky. And I will also give you a link down below to all of the videos that are going in this series. And of course, there will be a big flip through at the end. Thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you get shaken.